My name is Ronald, and I've been married long enough to know when the ground beneath a relationship begins to subtly shift. You can't always put your finger on it at first, there's no immediate proof, but something inside you senses it. That night, when my wife, Mackenzie, offhandedly said, "I'm heading out tonight," I didn't raise my voice or plead. I just looked at her and said, "If you walk out that door, don't come back. I'll be handing you everything, the whole truth." That moment didn't come out of nowhere. It wasn't a sudden explosion of anger, it was the culmination of years slowly chipping away at me. Years of pouring my soul into a marriage, only to feel like a stranger in my own home. Back then, I had just become a fully certified doctor. The journey there had been nothing short of grueling, endless nights buried in books, unpaid internships, 16-hour shifts in hospitals. When I finally earned that white coat, I felt unstoppable. Hopeful. I believed in the life I was about to build. That's when Mackenzie came into my world. She was stunning and smart, working as a sales assistant for a top fashion firm. She was confident, competent, and despite her demanding schedule, she made time for me. For us. Those early days felt golden. She was warm, loving, and emotionally present. We dated while both focused on our careers. I was working tirelessly to tackle my student loans, taking every extra shift I could so we wouldn't carry that debt into our future. My goal was simple: pay it off fast, start clean. When I had made solid progress on the loan and we were both standing on firm ground, we tied the knot. We kept it simple, a small, heartfelt ceremony with close family and friends. We exchanged promises to be patient with each other, to grow together, to support one another. I meant every word. At that point, I was certain Mackenzie was my forever. After the wedding, we settled into married life. My job paid well, but the loans still weighed heavily. So I sat Mackenzie down and shared my plan: we'd hold off on having kids for a bit. Not because I didn't want them, I did, but because I wanted to give them a life without the burden of debt. If we could clear the loans quickly, we'd have more freedom and stability. But she didn't take it well. Mackenzie was frustrated. She felt we didn't need to rush to pay everything off, that we could simply make minimum payments and use the rest to find our dream home. She had a vision for the future, one I found beautiful, too, but reality demanded practicality. Buying a home while still drowning in six-figure debt just wasn't wise. She reminded me of something she'd shared early in our relationship. Once we had children, she wanted to stay home and raise them herself. I admired that. My own mother had juggled multiple jobs and barely had time for us. The idea of our children growing up with a full-time, present mother felt like a blessing. But there was a trade-off. If Mackenzie stepped away from her career, I'd shoulder everything: mortgage, bills, and loans. It wasn't just pressure, it was suffocating. That night, we had our first real argument as a married couple. I tried to explain my reasoning, but all she seemed to hear was, "No house. No kids. Not now." It wasn't just a disagreement about finances, it marked the beginning of a deeper disconnect. Eventually, I decided to be the one who compromised. I didn't want to dim her dreams. So I pushed harder, took more shifts, worked longer hours. My co-workers used to joke they saw me more than their spouses did. And they weren't wrong. Most nights, I came home after midnight. Some days, I didn't even have time to eat or sleep properly before heading back out. I missed birthdays, holidays, weekends, everything that made a home feel alive. I kept telling myself it was temporary. Once we bought the house and the loans were gone, things would balance out. I'd finally have time again, for her, for us. Truthfully, it hurt. I'd sneak into our bedroom after work, finding Mackenzie already asleep, and silently hoped that all this sacrifice meant something to her. After over a year of relentless grinding, I finally did it. The student loans were gone. And I had saved enough for a down payment on a house. But instead of settling in, we were stalled. Mackenzie had a long list of renovations: new flooring, kitchen layout changes, bathroom tiles, fresh paint. Reasonable on their own, sure, but together, they spiraled into weeks of delays and contractor meetings. Still, I told myself it was okay. With the loans paid off, I could finally slow down and reconnect with her, with our life. But the woman I returned to wasn't the same one I had married. Intimacy faded. She withdrew from me, citing exhaustion or errands. At first, I assumed we just needed to adjust. I'd been gone so much, maybe she had simply adapted to life without me. But the more time passed, the clearer it became, she wasn't adapting. She was detaching. Her excuses for being late started to sound like thin veils over something else. Traffic delays on routes that were never congested. Helping a colleague despite her job not demanding that kind of coverage. Even on weekends, she'd find reasons to be out. Coffee with a friend, a quick errand. Always something pulling her away from home. And I still didn't confront her. I believed once we moved into the new house, things would click back into place. We'd finally be able to start planning for children, for the future we once talked about. But that dream felt more distant by the day. Arguments became more frequent. Conversations about kids turned into battlegrounds. What was once a shared dream now felt like a source of tension. Months passed after I reduced my hours. I was present, available, and hopeful. But at some point, even I had to face the truth. We were not okay. For a long time, I kept my mouth shut. I told myself things would get better, that the tension filling the silence between us would eventually break. But it never did. One night, after Mackenzie returned from yet another unexplained outing, I finally said what had been eating away at me, "This isn't working. We barely speak. You're never around, not just physically, but emotionally, too." I wasn't angry when I said it. Just tired. Tired of pretending we were still something real. But instead of hearing me out, she erupted. It was like she'd been waiting for that exact moment to unload years of resentment. She called me selfish. Said I had spent our entire marriage prioritizing my career while she sat alone, feeling invisible and abandoned. She accused me of vanishing into work, of leaving her to eat dinner alone and go to bed alone. And now, just when she was trying to reclaim some joy, to feel alive again, I suddenly had an issue with it. Her words cut deeper than I expected. I had worked myself to exhaustion so we could have a better life, and now she was calling that neglect. Then she said something that completely blindsided me. She was in her baby girl phase. I didn't know what that meant at first. She explained it like it was some kind of rebirth, living for herself, doing what made her feel good, no explanations owed. She told me I couldn't tell her what to do anymore, that she needed space to focus on her. In that moment, I realized I wasn't talking to the woman I married. She had become someone else entirely, someone I no longer recognized. After that fight, everything unraveled faster. She stopped pretending to care. Sometimes she'd tell me she was going out, sometimes she wouldn't say a word. Whether I was home or not didn't seem to matter anymore. She didn't ask where I was going, didn't even look up when I came in. I had become furniture in my own home, present, but unseen. Eventually, I couldn't take the guessing. I needed the truth, something solid. So I hired a private investigator. Something I thought I'd never do. He cost a fortune, but I didn't care anymore. I needed answers. Weeks passed before the report came in. When it did, everything inside me sank. Mackenzie wasn't just detached, she was living a double life, one where I didn't exist. Still, I didn't rage. I didn't confront her with accusations. I wanted to talk, one last time. To see if there was still something worth saving. But the moment I brought it up, she turned it back on me. Told me I was controlling, manipulative. Like I was the one destroying us. That's when I knew she was long gone. And I needed to start planning my exit. One evening, I was sitting on the couch, half watching a show I wasn't interested in, just listening. I heard her getting ready in the bedroom. She always took her time before she went out. Spent more energy choosing an outfit than she ever spent having a conversation with me. When she walked out, I was stunned for a second. Her outfit didn't reflect a married woman heading to dinner with girlfriends, it looked like she was chasing attention. "Where are you going?" I asked quietly. She barely looked at me. "That's none of your business," she said flatly. That was the moment something inside me snapped. I stood up, looked her straight in the eye, and said, "If you walk out that door tonight, don't bother coming back." She paused, just for a second, like she was weighing how serious I was. But when I didn't say another word, she turned and left. I didn't wait around. I packed what I needed, some clothes, important papers, essentials, and walked away that same night. I had given her too many chances, forgiven too many things. But this time, I was done. The very next morning, I found the top-rated divorce attorney in town and booked the soonest appointment I could get. I told him I wasn't interested in a messy fight, but I also wasn't going to be backed into a corner. I asked him one thing: how fast can we move? His team got to work. Within 48 hours, the paperwork was ready and served to her, right at her job. She didn't call me when she got home and saw I was gone. But once those papers landed on her desk, she finally reached out. Not to apologize, she was furious. "You're about to lose everything," she snapped over the phone, like she was issuing a threat. I stayed calm. "No, I'm not," I said. Then I sent her the photos and videos the investigator had collected. One of them was especially damning, her in an intimate moment with the city's mayor. A married man. The kind of scandal that could detonate a political career. I gave her a choice. These don't have to go public. Sign the papers, and we part ways quietly. Clean. No drama. She tried to play it cool. Said she didn't care, that she had nothing to hide. But her voice cracked just enough for me to know the truth: she cared. She just didn't want to lose control. In the end, she signed. Months passed after the divorce was finalized. Then one day, I came across an article, an investigative report exposing the mayor's affairs. Apparently, a journalist had set him up, caught him red-handed with another woman. The report was detailed: names, dates, locations, receipts, surveillance footage. And there it was, Mackenzie's name, printed in black and white. I didn't feel sorry for her. Not even a little. She had continued her affair even after being exposed. She didn't care what it did to our marriage, or to me. Seeing that article just confirmed what I already knew. Leaving when I did was the best decision I could have made. I had stepped away before her chaos could pull me under. To anyone going through something like this, if your efforts are met with indifference or hostility, if you're the only one fighting to hold it together, ask yourself, how long can you keep investing in someone who's already emotionally checked out? Too many men are out here working themselves into the ground for people who've already left the relationship in their hearts. If that's you, don't stay silent. Don't ignore the signs your gut has been warning you about. If this story resonates, drop your thoughts below. Share your own story if you're ready. Let's be there for each other. And if you think someone else needs to hear this, share it. You might help someone recognize their moment to walk away.